Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Draft Room. This is the NFL Draft Podcast of the Packernet Podcast Network. We do have a call-in number if you're interested in calling in and getting your thoughts and opinions and questions and comments and concerns in. It's 608-561-3243. That's 608-561-3243. Also, as a reminder, our draft guide is in the description. You can find it down below. Just go ahead and click on that. I think all the kinks have been worked out. Apologies to anybody that followed through and something went wrong. I think we're working now. I know it was working in the past, and then I don't know what happened. Through my screwing around with stuff, I guess something got jacked up. But I think we're working now. And if there are any issues, please let me know because I want to make sure to get that taken care of. But what I'd like to do is continue on with our Bob McGinn reports. The thing is, we don't have enough days to get through all this, so we're going to have to try to go double time here to get through some of this stuff. So today I want to try to get through offensive line. We'll do offensive tackles, take a break, and then do guard center. And we'll try to do 2 a day until the draft here. But without further ado, we'll get started with the top prospect. Thank you, which is Francis Maui'a Noah. My wife texting me, who later on will say, why is your phone always on silent or vibrate or whatever? You can never hear it. Well, that's why. It's also why is your Alexa unplugged? Well, someone's at the front door 500,000 times could be the reason. All right. 6'5", 328, 5'14", 40-yard dash, third-year junior, born in American Samoa, moved to Florida. 33 and a quarter inch arms, 10 and 5/8 inch hands. Big old boy. By the way, as a side note, the last 4 Miami first-round tackles, Eric Flowers, Vernon Carey, Bryant McKenzie, and Leon Searcy, each started 100-plus NFL games. Scout 1 says, I like Will Campbell, but I'd have to say this guy's better than Will Campbell. He's not that Hall of Famer Willie Roaf, but he'll be an all-pro type. Looks like a guard, moves like a tackle. Scout 2 says, have less questions about him than others. Scout 3 says, he's either a right tackle or a guard, big power player. I see him more as a guard, definitely can be a starting tackle, but he's a Pro Bowl guard. Scout 4, freaky rare size tackle, isn't the agile athlete that Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu are. In the run game, that's where you see his power. Kind of a Penei Sewell type. Probably a little heavier than anyone would like him. Scout 5 says, usually the O-line coaches will tell you to make sure he's a dancing bear and can pass protect, and I'll teach him how to run block. He'll be a solid starter at the beginning, but by the end of the first year, you'll be enamored with him as your starting left tackle or right. Next up is Spencer Fano out of Utah, 6'5 and a half, 312, 492 40-yard dash, third-year junior. Led all tackles with a 7.34 short shuttle. He does have short arms, though, at 32 and an eighth inch arms, shortest of the top 20 tackles. Also has 9-inch hands, which is tied for the smallest of the group. Another Polynesian guy, Polynesian college football player of the year. 4 of his uncles played in the NFL. Scout 1 says, in this era of football, I like Fano the best because he could at least be a left tackle potentially. Scout 2 says, my concern last year with Will Campbell was he was a little bit short-armed. He wasn't 34, 35 inches like some of these guys. I really do think if you watch throughout the season, and especially in the Super Bowl, you could see where that showed up, talking about Will Campbell. Scout 3 echoes a lot of this, says he doesn't have good length, but he's a good athlete. Utah ran a lot of plays where they'd walk down a wideout and pull a tackle out front. He just destroyed people in his path, or run the quick screen to the wideout, and he'll run out there and block the DB and run down the field. His best blocks are down blocks where he can just maul the guy. Better foot athlete than Will Campbell. This is Scout 4. Not like a powerful uproot road grader type, but he can generate power. He is a top 15 pick. Scout 5, he's average at everything. Doesn't have top strength or top movement or feet, inconsistent with production. Moved around better at the combine than I saw on tape, but that's drill work. Next up is Blake Miller, 6'6 and a half, 318, 34 and a quarter inch arms, 9 and 3/4 hands, 32 reps on the bench, which led the position. Scout 1 says there's nothing sexy, nothing that stands out where you go, oh wow. All he does is play down in, down out with consistent technique. Plays lower than you think for his frame. He can stay down. Scout 2 says there's real strong belief he'll go first round at the end. Scout 3 says ideally he goes in the second round, but he'll probably go round 1. Adds he's tough, not the strongest, but he works at it, good in pass pro. Caden Proctor, absolute massive human, 6'6.5", 358. Scout 1 again with his dancing bear thing says if a guy's 366 and 6'7 and he's a dancing bear, the offensive line coach can figure it out. By the way, this is probably the exact mentality that the Packers had with Anthony Belton. Just give me a giant bear that can move, and I'll teach him. Can they teach him is kind of the question. Scout 1 also a little skeptical because Alabama tackles have not had a massive amount of success. Scout 2 says, I didn't like Evan Neal, and this guy is exactly the same. He has a little bit of movement for being so big, but the game against Auburn, he's just standing around watching. He just teases you and ultimately disappoints. Big, good-looking dude, but not physical, not a lot of grit, stands around and watches. There's an endorsement. Scout 3 says he's going to be probably top 20s, but it's embarrassing. He should be a top 5, top 6. He's more athletic than my top 2 guys, Fano and Maui'a Noah, but the top 2 guys produce consistently. He didn't. Scout 4 says he's overrated, slow feet, kind of an oozer, slow twitch, not a good athlete for pass protection. Scout 5 says, I don't know if he's got the grit to play guard, but he could. He does not dominate consistently. Depends on which tape you watch. So, kind of tells you everything you need to know about Caden Proctor. I think the scouts really hate his tape, but the coaches are going to absolutely be enamored, and the GMs will be enamored with his gifts, the things you can't teach, like his size. Then you got Monroe Freeling, 6'7.5", 317, 498 40. Scout 1 says you can tell he hasn't started a ton, but every game he got better and better. He's got what you call S-word in his neck. I don't know what that means. He got a little more physicality than some of these guys for a younger guy that hasn't played a bunch. He's the kind of kid that's going to walk in there and be like, nothing's going to be too big. I'm going to learn this job and take this job and make it my own. He strikes me as having that kind of play personality. Scout 2 says he's talented but has some core strength issues. Scout 3, big, he's long, he's got great feet, kind of a Colton Miller type. Scout 4 says he looks thin, he's got some initial movement and quickness, he's just so weak. For Caleb Lomu, third year junior, 2-year starter, prototypical size, length, good athleticism, feet that make him a potential first or second round pick, possibly Utah's 4th ever first round offensive tackle. Scouts seem to like his traditional tackle body and movement skills, but view him more as a finesse player. Quote, he's a good athlete too, but Spencer Fano's a notch above him. Lomu has the prototypical size and length. He has a traditional tackle body that you like. Not that he's soft or anything, but just doesn't finish with that same urgency. He's more of a finesse guy than Fano, needs to gain some strength, the feet, the athlete, the body of work are there. It's all there. It may just take him a while. I don't think he's the guy you can pencil in this year. For Ihana Chore, who is number 7 on this list here, born in Nigeria, 6'6", 321, 4940. One of the rawest high upside tackles in the draft, 2-year starter who flipped between right and left tackle before playing right at the Senior Bowl. He possesses first-round physical talent, long arms, good feet, and a dense athletic frame that keeps improving. Quote, somebody on campus saw him and said, man, you need to check out this football team. One scout said he's literally only played real football for maybe 4 years. His arrow is up. He's got the feet. His deficiencies are all coachable. Physically, he has first-round talent. He got better as the season went along. You saw what he could do against real NFL-type pass rushers. Another evaluator called him a tease because of flashes of dominance mixed with inconsistent instincts and mental processing, noting you have to figure out if you like him. If you love him, and if you're nervous about him, athletically and physically, I like him. He just has a hard time consistently putting it all together. Number 8 is Austin Barber out of Florida, 6'7", 318. Tough, reliable, technically sound lineman, projects as a solid right tackle at the next level. Scouts compare him directly to Blake Miller for his competitiveness and consistency. Quote, he's a lot like Blake Miller, really tough, very physical, not as long as I'd like. Sometimes he gets beat by long arm moves. He's steady, efficient, smart. He's got to figure out how to play. At 9 is Caleb Tiernan out of Northwestern. Fifth-year senior who redshirted in 2021, started 43 games. Smart, tough, deceptively physical left tackle, huge frame, projects as a third-round pick, potentially solid NFL starter on either side. Quote, "He's smart and he's tough," said one scout. "Moves around okay, can play on both sides, probably will get taken higher than people think. Not great in pass pro, but not bad." Another evaluator said he's deceptively physical. There's some good toughness in that kid. What you see is kind of what you get. I wrote him as a solid starter. I don't know that there's a ton of upside, but steady and efficient. Third round. And then he's got 12 on here. I think we'll just end with the top 10, but number 10 is Mark Bell, followed by Jude Bowery, Demetrius Cronauer, and then the next 5, Drew Shelton, J.C. Davis, Isaiah World, Diego Pounds, great name, Nolan Rucci. But for number 10, Mark Bell, 6'9", 348 pounds, massive long limb left tackle, started 21 of 28 games for the Hurricanes after ballooning close to 400 pounds at Holmes Community College. Mark Bell is one of the most intriguing piece of clay prospects in the class because of his extreme size and arm length. Quote, "He reminds me a little bit of Trent Brown," said one scout. "Bell's so darn big, he's got decent enough feet. As soon as he gets his hands on people, he wins. He's an intriguing guy. He's more of a pass pro guy with upside. He's a piece of clay you can coach up." All right, why don't we take a break there, and then we'll come back and rip through some of these interior offensive linemen and see what some of the NFL scouts have to say. For interior, it's broken to guard and center, so we'll do 5 of each. The top 5 guards and the top 5 centers, starting with Vega Yuani, 6'4", 323, massive, powerful left guard, started 32 of 44 games, viewed by several scouts as a top interior offensive lineman in the class, potential first-round Pro Bowl talent. One evaluator compared him to Quinton Nelson, saying, "I don't think he's quite that dominant, but probably more athletic. Nelson was a better technician. Yuani is a freak talent for a big, thick man." Another scout added, "He's a Pro Bowl guard, reminds me of Tyler Booker from Alabama last year. Very similar, big mauler kind of guy, good enough athlete, better in the run game than pass. Whatever value you put on a guard, he's going to start and be really good and be your guy." Number 2 guard is Chase Passantes out of Texas A&M, 6'5", 317, 4-star recruit from Ramsey, New Jersey. Scouts see him as nearly on par with Vega Yuani, but with better athleticism and movement. Quote, "He's very close to Yuani," one scout said. "He's a better athlete, moves well, technique is sound, good effort, good on pass pro. He can move his feet, good punch, gets out of space. Bottom of the first for me." Another evaluator added, "Really good, powerful. I think he's a rookie starter, probably second round. Could be the best guard. He's big and nasty." Next up is Emmanuel Pregnon, 6'4", 315. Tough, powerful, steady interior lineman, projected as a second or third round pick and immediate NFL starter. Quote, "He's been around a long time. He's got good size, quick enough feet, tough to get around, and he's powerful. For a guy that played this long, I thought I'd see a guy who's more polished. He could sneak into the third." Another evaluator added, "He's steady Eddie, solid, little bit older, so you can see he really knows how to play. Nothing dynamic, but he's going to be solid, good player. He'll go in the second." At 4, you've got Jalen Farmer out of Kentucky, 2-year backup at Florida who transferred and started 24 games at guard for the Wildcats, 6'5", 316, 4'9", 340. Massive athletic road grader with starter traits that impressed at the Senior Bowl. Real good player, one scout said. He's got all the traits of a starting guard, real good bender, long arms. He can maul you, good pass protector. Could be second or third round. He is massive, looks the part, kind of versatile too, got pretty good feet. He was really impressive at the Senior Bowl. And then finally for guard, the one and only Jennings Dunker out of Iowa, 6'5", 319 pounds. He's a big, powerful, aggressive run blocker whose best fit may be inside at guard despite extensive tackle experience. Quote, "Some people see him as an inside player. I think he could play right tackle. I don't think he's a first rounder by any means. He's probably a 2 or a 3. Another evaluator added, "Inside boy, when he's in the run game, boy, he gets on guys and mauls them. He's definitely an inside player. He's what you want in the run game. He's going to get on guys and creates holes in space. He's better in the gap scheme. Then at center, they've actually got at number 1 Logan Jones out of Iowa, a guy that I've been surprised has not been higher for a lot of people. But 6'3", 300 pounds, 4'9", 140. He will turn 25 in October, which isn't fantastic. He's a converted defensive tackle to center. They did that in 2022 after Tyler Linderbaum left for the NFL. Considered one of the top centers in the class by several scouts. Quote, "He's far and away the best center," said one scout. 3rd round, another called him a little bit of a poor man's Linderbaum, noting he's not going to be the best ever, but he's got strong hands and he's smart. His makeup is awesome. He's got good enough size and power to be a starter. Typical Iowa guy. Then at number 2 is the consensus top center, Connor Lew out of Auburn, 6'3.5", 309, third-year junior. Declared early after tearing his ACL in mid-October, missed the final 7 games, also dealing with a sprained MCL earlier in 2025. When healthy, several scouts ranked him as the top center in the class. Quote, "I really like him a lot. If healthy, I thought Lew was the best center." One scout said he could go 3rd round. He's good, athletic, quick, really good in the run game, big and strong. 3rd scout added, "I thought he was a solid 2nd rounder and a starting center." At 3 is Sam Hecht out of Kansas State, former walk-on, redshirted in 2021, 6'4", 303. Smart, tough, highly athletic zone scheme center whose football character and competitiveness stands out. "Love that kid," said one scout. "The size does show up, but he's a good football player. I could see him in the right scenario, a zone scheme, being a low-level starter. He can get out on poles, he can move. He's just small and 32-inch arms. Garrett Bradbury is very similar. The kid's character is top shelf." Another guy said he's got to go to a zone team because he's down block, double team duo type guy, really good athlete, stays after it. "I like Sam as a player, but he's got to be in the right system." Then we got Jake Slaughter out of Florida, 6'5", 304, one of only 3 Florida centers ever named AP first-team All-American. Boy, I'm going dark here. Words literally look blurry. All right, we got this. He would be joining Bill Carr in 1966 and Marquise Pouncey in 2009. Slaughter backed up for 2 years before starting 23 to 25 and is projected mid to late round pick. Should become a reliable NFL starter. He's the player that Florida speaks the most glowingly of, one scout said. Another evaluator added he'll end up being a starter, maybe 4th round, smart, and he's aggressive. He can pass protect, good enough athlete. He's a bender. And then lastly, we have Trey Zune out of Texas A&M, 6'6.5", 312 pounds. He is a tall, versatile lineman whose shorter arms, 32.5, make him better fit inside, where several scouts project him as a developmental starter at guard or center. Quote, "He's a tackle, but I feel he's going to be a poor man's Graham Barton," said one scout. "Somebody's going to say, 'I'll move you to center.'" Another evaluator added, "He played a lot of football at left tackle, but with a little bit shorter arms, he's not ideal out there, so I'm kicking him inside. I could see him being somewhat of a developmental starter that could play early at guard, then kick over once he's got comfortable. I like him inside. 6'6.5" center is tall, but I think he bends well enough." The next 5 they have are Jager Burton, Pat Coogan, Brian Parker, James Brockmeyer, and then Parker Brailsford. All righty, I am going to go ahead and take a little brain break and then get back to the regular old Packernet podcast. I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.